Guys, welcome back. As you know that for illustration number 4 we have completed journal entries. Let's take the view. So these many journal entries are already been recorded over here. Now next target is to convert these journal entries into ledger. Since there are large number of journal entries present over here, question would be lengthy. There will be so many ledgers we are going to make, so it's a sensitive work and will have to be cool. We will have to be very calm so that we can reduce the fear of mistakes. Okay, let's start with January 1st. We have the very first element cash. We will be making ledger of cash at first. Here you have seen how to make the ledgers. We have debit side and we have credit side. Both sides are having date, particulars and amount. Date, particulars and amount. Whenever we are making ledger, what we will do, suppose we are making cash ledger, we will search cash in all of these journal entries. If cash is present on debit side, we will choose to record debit side for cash, and when we'll see the cash is credit, we will choose the credit side of ledger to record. Simple rule is this: if something is debit, choose debit side of the ledger. If something is credit, choose credit side of the ledger. Debit do debit and credit do credit. Now as we are making our first ledger is cash ledger, and the step which we have taken is to narrate the title. Now see here, our first entry, we have cash and it is written on debit side. Rule which we have described is, if cash is debit, go to the debit side of the ledger. This is debit side. Amount was 2 lakh rupees, so primarily we will post amount 2 lakh on debit side of the cash. Again, look at it, we were making cash ledger. Cash is debited here for rupees 2 lakh. We have gone to the debit side and put 2 lakh rupees on debit side in amount column. Now it's time to write down the reference. And how you would write the reference? Cash ledger you are making, cash is already posted. Whatever is written at the opposite side, that would be used as reference. So capital is written, you will write 2 capital over here as a reference. And now it's time to put the date is January 1, so you can put over here J1 as your date. We have little less place to be posted, so we are using abbreviation J1. Entry number 1 has been posted for the cash. Please keep it in mind, each and every aspect of this journal will be posted. So there are two fears when you are making cash, and there are so many places you can have the cash. Now you can see almost every second entry is having cash. There are two fears over here, two risks are over here. One cash can be repeated twice, so we may write 2 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees or any amount in front of cash for 2 times. This is first risk. Secondly, it may be possible some of the entries can be skipped. When these are so many large number of journal entries are present, so second fear is possibility of skipping. To remove or to minimize fears, to remove and minimize both of these fears, what we can do, we will mark whenever we have posted one entry or even one element, we will mark the entry as it has been completed. So this 2 lakh has been posted, so we will mark it as it has been done. Now we are not making capital ledger. First we will see only cash amounts present in this journal entry. In first entry, cash amount has already been posted. Now let's see what second entry is saying. We have two elements, but as we are related with the cash is credited by 1 lakh. We will go to the credit side and we'll write 1 lakh over here. For 1 lakh, see what is reference, that is bank, which is written on the opposite side. you will use the same reference buy bank over here with an additional word of buy. Whatever you will write over here, that was buy bank, whatever you will write over here in particular column on the credit side, you will use an additional word of buy with every element which you are going to write in the particulars of credit side. Now see its date of 1 lakh rupees, that is January 2. Put date here J2. This way we have posted second element, mark it as it has been done. So now you can understand why I am marking. This entry will not be repeated and this entry is not skipped. Both fears have been ended with just making it as marked. Now let's see what third entry is saying. We have cash over here which is credited by 10,000. We will go to the credit side and we'll write 10,000. All right, and now we will see its reference for 10,000. Reference is furniture. You will write furniture with an additional word of buy. In particular column, see its date which is Jan 3. So you will write J3 in date column. So this way 10,000 is also completed. Mark it as it has been done. When we will complete all the ledger, you will see that each and every amount on both sides will be marked, will be signaled green. So this way we will be having complete satisfaction that all entries are posted well. Okay, now we are on January 4 where cash is present. Since I am telling you that we are making cash ledger, so we will not be attentive on purchase, we will not be attentive on furniture, we will not be attentive on bank or capital, nothing else we will be focusing. We will only see cash. So Jan 4 entry, cash is credited by 30,000. We will go to the credit side and we'll write 30,000 over here. It's time to see its reference. 30,000 reference, what is written on the opposite side? Purchase. So you will be writing here purchase with an additional word of buy. Now see its date Jan 4. Put J4 over here. This way January 4th entry has been completed. Now January 5. We have two elements in January 5 but cash is not present over here, so skip it. January 7 entry, see cash is present over here with 26,000 on debit side. So you will go to the debit side and will write 26,000 over here. Okay, now see 26,000 reference, what is written on the opposite side? To sale. So you will write to sale over here. See its date Jan 7. Put date January 7 over here. This way 26,000 has been posted. That means cash on debit side is completed. Mark it as it has been done. Now January 8, there are two elements and both elements are not related with cash, so leave it. January 9, two elements not related with cash, leave it. January 11, two elements not related to cash, leave it. January 14, we would leave it. January 16, no cash. January 17, we have three elements and yes, we have found out the cash. Cash is credited by 6,800. Go to the credit side and write down 6,800 over here. Now see its reference of 6,800. What is written on the opposite side? Karachi. So you will be posting Karachi in particular column. Okay, 6,800 Karachi, date is 17th January. Put date over here J17. This way 17th entry has been completed. Cash is posted on credit side. Mark it as it has been done. Now it may be there may be a question why we haven't posted discount or why we haven't posted Karachi, and we have already discussed it. We are focusing upon cash only. Remaining everything is not to be focused. We will only be posting cash entries, either if cash is present on debit side or credit side. Nothing else will be written, nothing else will be posted in cash ledger, only cash. Let's see what next entry is saying. Cash is present on debit side. Yes, it is related with the cash ledger. Debit 3900. So we are going to write 3900 on amount column of debit side. What is written on the opposite side? That is Rafiq. So you will give reference of Rafiq to Rafiq over here. Check out the date of Rafiq is January 20. Put date here, January 20. Now in January 20 you can see that cash was debited by 3900 and opposite side Rafiq was written. We have completed the entry. Again, I'm just helping you. We will not be posting discount. We will not be focusing over here. We will be taking only cash, and cash was debited. We had debited 3900. Reference has been written Rafiq, and we have ignored 100 and 4000 rupees. All right, you will follow the same way of posting journal entries to the ledger. January 22, nothing is present over here. We are focusing upon cash and we are searching cash. January 24, cash is not present. January 26, no. January 28, no. January 31, no. And January 31 again, no. It means all entries related to cash has been posted over here. It's time to calculate the balance. For balance, we have already calculated several balances in previous illustrations. So method would be similar. We will take sum of both sides. First step is to take sum of both sides. This is sum of debit side. I am taking help from Excel. So here you have calculated the sum of debit side. And now take the sum of credit side. Again, I am taking help from Excel, and Excel will calculate the sum of credit sides. First step is completed. You have calculated sum of debit side, which is 229, sum of credit side, which is 146, and now you will make comparison of both amounts and you will pick the larger sum. Which one is larger sum? It is 229. So what you will do? You will write this larger sum on both sides. This larger sum will be written on both sides. Here you will write the balance on debit and credit side as well. On debit side, now write 900, and same amount you are going to post on credit side as well, 229900. Okay, this amount is needed to be written just parallel to the other side. So total you have mentioned on both sides 229,229,900. I'm repeating the steps. What you have done, you have summed of all the amounts of debit side, you have taken sum of all the amount on credit side, you made the comparison which side is having larger sum. That was debit side. Larger sum is posted on total of both sides. Here you may have an objection. Total of credit side was 146 and we have written 229. Objection is right, but this is the methodology of calculation of balance. Now you will choose the smaller side. Here total was 229, total was 146. So here we have the smaller side, that is credit side. There you will write the balance. How you will calculate this balance? You will subtract smaller amount from the smaller total from the larger total. So what you will do? Larger total minus smaller total, with which you will calculate the balance. Now let me know what was the larger total. It was 229900, and you will subtract the smaller total, which was 146800. This way you have calculated the initial balance, which is 83,100. Now next step is to take this balance to the opposite side. This is your opposite side and you are bringing it down. That is why the next balance would be called by to balance. But which balance? Brought down. You will mention brought down. And here what you will do? You will brought down the initial balance downside 83,100. Hopefully you have understood the matter. What we have done is you have calculated initial balance by subtracting small total from the larger total, and yet then you have brought down this balance to the opposite side. This was opposite side and you are bringing it down. Balance brought down was the basic requirement and that we have achieved. It means our requirement is completed. In other meaning, cash ledger is completed. Mark it as it has been done. Alright ji. Now what you will do for these two balances, since these were calculated just for the reference, it was rough work. Now it is unnecessary to be written over here. You can erase it. Rough work you will do at some other pages of your exam. Alright, here a line is missing. We are going to put that missing line. This way you have completed your cash ledger. Now if anybody wants to understand this way of balancing a ledger and they want to repeat it, don't worry about that, because we are making several ledgers, and for every ledger you will be calculating and making balance in the same way. So we will repeat it again. Cash ledger is completed. First ledger was cash and we had completed. Next element is capital. Keep it in mind, every element present in journal we will make ledger of that particular element. All ledgers will be made for each and every element. Cash ledger is completed. Now it's time to make capital ledger. For capital ledger, headings, lines, everything would be same. So I'm just taking these headings from previous ledger, but what you will do, you will be rewriting all the headings and you will be drawing the all lines which you have drawn in previous ledger. Now we are making capital ledger, so we have changed the title and the number. Similar method is same. We will be focusing on capital now. Wherever capital is present, we will pick and post. First entry, yes, capital is present and capital is credited by 2 lakh. We will choose the credit side and we'll write 2 lakh over here. So amount has been posted. Now let's see what is the reference of this capital. Opposite side cash is written, so you will use buy cash for reference. This way you have filled the particulars. Now see what was its date. It was 1. Now write down J1 over here, and we will be looking any other entry which is having capital. Capital was present over here. Now see, capital is not present at any of the other entry, and you will have to see again and again if capital is present. So capital was not present in any of other entry. It means capital ledger posting is completed. It's time to calculate the balance. First step, total of credit side, total of debit side. Since there is only one amount on credit side, that is 20,000, nothing is present on debit side, it means 0. So we have taken the total of both sides, 20,000 here and 0 over here, which is the larger sum, 20,000. So you are going to post 20,000 on total of both sides. Here you will write 20,000 and you are going to write the same total on opposite side but exactly parallel. So 20,000 total here and 20,000 total you have written on credit side as well. Now you will say there is nothing over here. Why we have written the total 20,000 at this side? But keep it in mind, it is the methodology of calculation of balance. First step is completed, second step is completed. We have calculated sum of both sides. Larger sum is posted on total of both sides. Now you will choose the smaller side. Which side is smaller here? Total was 0, so it's smaller side. At smaller side you will write to balance, and this is initial balance. How you will calculate? You will subtract smaller total from the larger total. So larger total and minus, you are going to subtract smaller total from the larger total. Okay, what was total of credit side? It was 20,000 and it was the larger total 20,000, and you will subtract the smaller total. Smaller side was debit, and you can see there was nothing written upon debit side, so its balance was 0. Its total was 0. So balance initially we have calculated is 20,000. The next step is to brought it down. How? You have calculated balance on debit side, now brought it downward, and to the opposite side is called brought down. Same amount you are going to write on opposite side but downwards. That is why it is called by balance. But which balance it is? Brought down. All right, so hopefully you have understood. We have repeated the same way of balancing what we have done for cash. In cash ledger we had calculated the balance, and same method has been used to calculate the balance of capital as well. Since balance brought down has been calculated, this was our target has been achieved, mean capital ledger is completed. So it's time to close it, shut it down with by putting a ending line after here. Capital ledger is also completed. Now let's see what is next. Capital amount has already been posted. It means this entry is completely posted into the ledgers. Next is bank. So we are going to make ledger for bank. What I will do, I will just hire these entries and will write again for making of next ledger. Next ledger name is bank. So you are going to change the title and number as well. You can see headings are not different. You can see that lines are not different. So we are just following the same procedure, but focus will be upon bank only. Now you can see your first entry, bank is not present. Then January 2, bank is present, yes, and it is debited by 1 lakh. Since bank is debited over here, we will choose the same side in the ledger as well. 1 lakh would be written on the debit side. For bank, 1 lakh is debited. What is reference? That is to cash. So you will put to cash in particular column. See its date, which is January 2. So you are needed to put date January 2 in date column. 1 lakh has been posted. It means this amount is transferred to the ledger. We have marked it as it has been done. We will be now searching where else bank is present. January 3rd, no. January 4, January 5, January 7, bank is not present. 8, January 9, yes, bank is present. 30,000 on credit side. So you will go to the credit side of the bank and will write 30,000. Now see its reference for 30,000. What is the reference? This is your entry. And what is written on the opposite side? That is Karachi. So write down reference of Karachi by Karachi. Over here reference has been written for 30,000. And now see the date, which is January 9. Put date January 9 over here. So 30,000 has been posted. Mark it as it has been done. Now see if next entry has bank. Yes, bank is debited by 16,000. We will choose the debit side and we'll write 16,000 over here. For 16,000, see what is written on the opposite side, Rafiq. Rafiq will be used for reference in particulars column. 16,000 entry. Now see what is date, which is January 11. Put date over here, January 11. 16,000 has been posted with the reference of bank. So mark it as it has been done. Next entry, bank is not present. No, no, no. January 22. Yes, January 26, bank is present on credit side. 10,000 is being credited. So you will go to the credit side and will write 10,000 on credit column of bank ledger. For 10,000, bank was credited. What is written on the opposite side? Typewriter. So you will use typewriter with an additional word of buy on particular column. See what was the date of 10,000. It was January 26. So put January 26 in date column. Hence 10,000 entry has been posted to its relevant ledger, mean in the bank it is completed. Next entry January 28, bank is not present. Then January 3rd 31st, yes, bank is present with 6,000 on credit side. Put 6,000 on credit side of ledger as well. Why? What is written on the opposite side? Salaries. So write down salaries in reference column. See what was the date, January 31. So put January 31 as date over here. It means 6,000 entry for bank has been completed. Mark it as it has been done. Now next entry, January 31B, bank is present on credit side 4,000. So you will go to the bank and will write 4,000 on credit side of the bank. For reference, see what is written on the opposite side, that is rent. So write down rent over here with an additional word of buy. What was its date? January 31B. So here you will go J31B. Hopefully it is within the limit. Okay, 4,000 you have also posted with reference to bank in bank's ledger. All right, January 31B is completed. Nothing else is present. So it means all entries related to bank has been posted. So here the time comes again to calculate the balance. First step is to take sum of all the amounts present on debit side. So here you will get the sum of debit side. I am taking help from Excel. Sum of debit side arrived 1,16,000, and now you are needed to calculate sum of the credit side as well. So here would be the sum of credit side, spellings SUM. Okay, sum of the credit side arrived 50,000. Sum of the debit side 116. Step 1 is completed. It's time to see which sum is the larger sum. So larger sum is 1,60,000, and you are going to put 116,000 on both sides, total of both sides. Here you will put 116,000, and you are supposed to write the same balance at opposite side as well. This is the way of balancing. Second step is completed. What you have done? Sum of debit side 16,000, sum of credit side 50,000, larger sum was 116. You have posted 116 on both sides. Now third step is to see which sum was the smaller sum. This is your smaller side. Here you will write by balance, and this is initial balance. How you will calculate this balance? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total. So what you will do? Larger sum minus smaller sum, with which you will calculate the balance. Larger sum was what? 116,000, and smaller sum was 50,000. So you will subtract 50,000 from 116. Here you have got the balance. This is first balance or initial balance. The next step is to brought down this balance to the opposite side. You are bringing it down. That is why it is called brought down. But amount of balance would be same. So balance is 66,000. So you will be writing the same balance over here, and title would be to balance. But what balance it is? Brought down. So here you have got your balance. This was your requirement, and requirement for bank ledger is completed. It means bank ledger is completed, and you are going to put a ending line after here as the ledger has been completed. These sums of both sides were written just for the reference. Now they are not needed, so you may clear it. So in this way your bank ledger is also completed. Alright guys, if bank ledger is complete, now you can see some of the amounts are marked and highlighted and some of the ledgers are completed. We are now going to see what is our next ledger. Cash is completed, capital is completed, bank is completed. Next is furniture. So we are going to make furniture's ledger and I'm hiring the same headings of previous ledger. This is little easy for me, but for you will have to make all the headings again. So we are making furniture ledger, change the title, change the number, furniture ledger, but you can see that everything written downward is absolutely similar, nothing is changed. For furniture ledger, you will have to start from the first entry. Not present, not present, yes, present furniture debit side 10,000. So you will go to the furniture account and will write 10,000 on debit side. Now see what is reference. Opposite side cash is written, so you will use to cash for writing the reference in particular column. See for 10,000, what is your date? That is January 3rd. So put the date January 3rd in date column. This way posting of 10,000 is completed for the furniture. That means you have to mark it as it has been done. Now see where else furniture is present. January 4, you can start over here and see if you can see the furniture. So every time you will have to search thoroughly. Furniture is not present over here, it means posting of furniture is completed. It's time to balance it. Step number 1, total of debit side 10,000, total of credit side nothing is present over here, it means 0. So 10,000 total over here and total of credit side is 0 as nothing is mentioned over here. So first step completed, total of both sides. Now see which sum is the larger sum, that is 10,000. So you are going to write total on both sides. Here you will see which sum is the larger sum, 10,000. So 10,000 on debit side and exactly parallel opposite side you will write the sum 10,000 as well. This way your second step is completed. Third step is to choose the smaller side. Total of this side is 0. Total of this side 10,000. So this is smaller side. Here you will write the by balance. And how this balance will be calculated? You will subtract smaller total from the larger total. That means larger total minus smaller total. Calculate this balance. What is the larger total? That is 10,000. And you will subtract the smaller total, which is 0. So here you have got the balance. Now next step is what? You will be bringing it down to the opposite side. 10,000, same balance will be brought down 10,000 but on the opposite side. And here you will write to balance, but what balance it is? Brought down. You will mention it as brought down balance. This was our requirement for the furniture or for any ledger. Requirement completed. It means furniture ledger is completed. Mark it as it has been done by putting a closing line. All right, furniture ledger is also completed. Go next. As we have seen that some of the entries are marked green, means they have already completed. We are no need to see these entries again, so we can start from here. Next entry is purchase. So you are going to make purchase ledger. These balances or these sums were made just for the reference. Now they are not needed to be written over here, so clear them. Next ledger you are going to make is purchase ledger. So I'm just taking previous ledger's heading, editing it to write down purchase. That means title of next ledger is purchase. We'll change the number as well. It's 5th number, purchase ledger. So we will be focusing upon purchase only now. Nothing else would be written except purchase. Okay, first three entries are already completed. January 4 we have found out the purchase, and purchase is debited by 30,000. So we will go to the debit side of the purchase and will write 30,000 on debit side. Now see what is its reference. 30,000. Cash is written on the opposite side, so you are going to put 2 cash on opposite side. Now see what was the date of 30,000. It is January 4. Put date over here, that is January 4. This way you have completed the posting. Alright guys, first posting is completed. With reference to purchase, we have posted this 30,000 on debit side. Now we will be looking if there is any other entry including purchase. January 5th was having purchase. Okay, January 4th 30,000 entry we have already posted, so mark it as it has been done. And next, January 5th, yes, purchase is present, debit side 40,000, so you will be posting 40,000 on debit side. And see its reference for 40,000. What is written on the opposite side? Karachi. So you may write Karachi in reference column. Okay, and see 40,000 date is January 5. Put date January 5 in date column. This way you have posted January 5th entry, and in January 5th entry you were making ledger of purchase. That means this 40,000 has been posted, completed, mark it as it has been done. Now we are going to see if purchase is present in any other entry, and you are looking. Yes, we have seen this purchase January 22nd. Purchase is credited by 4,000. So go to the credit side and write down 4,000 on credit side, and see 4,000's reference, that was loss by fire. So you will be writing over here by loss by fire. All right, and see its date 4,000 loss by fire. This was the entry, and date is January 22. Put date as January 22 over here. Entry has been completed, posting completed. 4,000 was needed to be posted on credit side. We have posted this amount, mark it as it has been done. Okay, it was actually January, which date entry? January 22. This was January 22, purchase 4,000, mark it as it has been done. Next entry, January 24, again purchase is present, 3,000 is credited. So go to the credit side and write down 3,000. See what is its reference of 3,000. What is written on the opposite side? Drawings. So you will be putting buy drawings in particular column. See 3,000 date, it's January 24. So you are going to write the date January 24 over here. First entry's date was January 22, so put January like this. Okay, date is completed. January 24 3,000. January 24 3,000 we have posted, mark it as it has been done. Now next entry 26, purchase is not present. January 28, yes, purchase is present on credit side 4,000. Write down 4,000 over here. Now see its reference. What is written on the opposite side? Free sampling. Write down here free sampling as reference with an additional word of buy. See its date January 28. Put date January 28 in date column. This way you have completed the posting. Now see, this was January 28. purchase 4,000, posted, mark it as it has been done. Next two entries are not having purchase. It means all the posting related to purchase are completed. It's time to balance it. First step, take sum of both sides, debit and credit. Here there are two amounts. I will take help from Excel to calculate the sum of debit side. It is 70,000. Now you will be calculating the sum of credit side as well. Sum here I have taken help from Excel is 11,000, 70,000. Step 1 completed. Step 2, make comparison and choose larger sum. Larger sum is 70,000, so you are going to put this larger sum on both sides. First debit side you will put 70,000 and you are going to put the same amount on credit side total as well, and you will be writing 70,000. This is the procedure of calculation of balances. Now choose the smaller side. Debit side was 70,000, credit side was 11,000, smaller side is credit side. Here you will be writing by balance. And how you will calculate this initial balance? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total. So here is larger total minus smaller total. Calculated. What was the larger total? Here you can see larger total was 70,000 and you will subtract the smaller total which is 11,000, and here you have calculated the balance. This is your initial balance, and now next step is to take it downside, brought it down to the other side. That is why it is we are bringing it down, but amount would be same, side would be opposite, and you will be bringing it downside. That is why it is called by balance. But which balance? Brought down, BD. So here it was our requirement for any ledger. Balance brought down has been calculated. Purchase ledger is completed. Mark it as it has been done by putting a closing line after it. These totals or these sums were written just for the reference. Now they are not needed. Just erase it. Purchase ledger is completed, and this was ledger number 5. So we will go again upside and we'll see what is next to purchase. Purchase entry is completed. Next is Karachi store, or that's account payable. I will just take headings of previous ledger and will write again. Next ledger title is Karachi store. So just change the title Karachi store. Okay, now spellings are correct. Change the number. It's 6th ledger Karachi store. So what you are going to do, you will be searching now Karachi only. These initial entries you can see from here to here, all entries are completed. We are not needed to look them again. Karachi we are focusing. In January 5 Karachi is credited by 40,000. So you will go to the credit side of the ledger. Here you will be putting amount. See what was the amount in front of Karachi. You can see that it was 40,000. So put 40,000 over here. Now see what is the reference of this entry. What is written on the opposite side? That is purchase. So put reference over here as well. By purchase. See 40,000 date. Date is January 5. This is very important to put the dates. January 5th. This way posting of January 5th is completed. Go to January 5. We are posting in Karachi's ledger. This amount has already been posted. Mark it as it has been done. Now see where else Karachi is present. January 7, no. 8, no. January 9, yes. Karachi is debited by 30,000. So go to the Karachi's ledger, debit side, post 30,000 in amount column. Now see what is reference. Bank is written on the opposite side. So you will use reference to bank in particular column. See for 30,000 what is the date for 30,000. Here Karachi is debited January 9. Put date over here January 9. This way 30,000 entry for J9 is completed. Mark it as it has been done. All right. So we have to see if Karachi is present elsewhere. Yes. What we had posted this entry January 9 30,000, after which January 11 no, January 14 yes. Karachi is debited by 3,000. So you will go to the debit side and will write 3,000 in amount column. 3,000. Okay, now see what is reference for this 3,000 January 14. What is written on the opposite side? Return out. So you will be writing reference to return out over here. And see for 3,000 what is the date? It is January 14. Karachi was debited January 14. Put date January 14 in date column. This way posting for 3,000 is completed. For Karachi January 14 3,000 completed. Mark it as it has been done. Now see if Karachi is present elsewhere. Yes, in January 17 Karachi is present with 7,000, but there are two references. What is written on the opposite side? 2 cash and 2 discount, 2 references. So you will have to put two amounts 6,800 and 200 so that we can post 7,000 collectively. Now here you can ask question 6,800 is already posted, but that amount was associated with cash. Here Karachi, we are making ledger of Karachi. Karachi is debited by 7,000. So we are needed to put 7,000, but this 7,000 is divided into two parts, 6,800 and 200. So you will go to the Karachi account and you will debit Karachi by two amounts. And what are those two amounts? First, you have gone to Karachi, you have chosen debit side. 6,800 was the first amount, 200 was the second amount. Now see, Karachi is debited by 7,000 and you have separately written 6,800 200. Ultimately Karachi is being debited by 7,000. This is the same thing. Since there were two references being used over here for Karachi, that is why we had separated the amounts in two ways. This was 6,800 and 200. Entry number was January 17. 2 cash and 2 discount was the reference. So first we will put the reference 2 cash in front of cash amount and 2 discount in front of amount of discount. 6,800 and 200 was, and date is J17 for both entries. Put date J17 in front of cash, and you are supposed to write same date in front of discount as well. This way you have completed posting of 7,000, and this was your entry Karachi. 7,000 is completed. Mark it as it has been done. We were actually posting 7,000, but since there were two references, so we have divided 7,000 into two parts. Anyhow, Karachi's entry for 7,000 is completed. Now see if Karachi is present elsewhere. From here to downward we are unable to see Karachi. That means all posting of Karachi is completed. So now again the same game we are playing. It's time to balance the ledger. First step, you will take the sum of all the amounts present on debit side, and you will do the same thing. You will calculate the sum present on sum of the all amounts present on credit side as well. It is only amount that was 40,000. So here you have calculated sum on credit side is 40,000 and sum on debit side surprisingly 40,000. It means both sides are equal. Here you have calculated the balance. How? You subtracted smaller total from the larger total, and when smaller or larger total both are equal, how would you calculate the balance? So there will not be any balance, and ultimately what you will do, you will write total of larger sum, and that was 40,000 of both sides. You will be writing same balance on opposite side as well. So here you have written 40,000 on debit side and 40,000 on credit side. So how you will calculate 40,000 minus 40? Either you will be writing over here or here, that doesn't matter. When there is no balance is zero. These totals were written just for the reference. Now they are not needed to be written over here. You can clear it. It means balance is, we are unable to calculate the balance. In other words, Karachi's ledger is automatically completed without calculation of balance, because it is already, balance is zero over here. So put a ending line after it. This way Karachi stores ledger is also completed. Please try to understand, total of both sides was equal, so balance could not be calculated. So without calculation of balance we are moving forward, and we are considering as Karachi's ledger is completed without having any balance, because balance was zero. So come back to our journal. We were making Karachi stores entry, that has been completed. It's time to make sales ledger. So next ledger would be ledger of sales. I'm taking headings from the previous ledger and writing the same for next ledger. Changing the title, instead of Karachi you are going to write sale ledger. Number you are going to change, it's 7th ledger. Remaining you can see everything is same, except we are now focusing upon sale only. First entry, as you have seen that all entries are turned green, that means they have already been posted, so we are no need to be attentive to these entries. Entry number 7, sale is credited by 26,000. So you will go to the credit side of sale and will put 26,000 on credit side, because sale was credited by 26,000. What is written, what reference you will use? What is written on the opposite side? Cash. So you will use in particular column by cash, and see its date as well. The amount of sale was 26,000. So here we have 26,000. Date is January 7. Put date January 7 in date column. This way you have completed the posting for January 7. Come and mark it as it has been done, because sale has been posted in sales ledger. So it's time to see next entry. Again sale is present with 22,000. Go to the ledger and write down 22,000 in credit column. For 22,000, see its reference. What is written on the opposite side? Rafiq. Write down here Rafiq with an additional word of buy. So 22,000 was the amount. For sale it has been posted. Mark it as it has been done. This was entry January 8. For sale, write down the date, which is January 8. This way we have completed the posting of January 8. Alright, 2 entries are completed. Now see for sale, if after J8 we were at J8 and sale ledger we are making 22,000 is already posted. Now see if sale is present elsewhere. We are going down and down. Sale is not present elsewhere. It means all posting are completed over here. There were only 2 entries which have already been posted. It's time to balance. First step, take sum of both sides. I am very hopeful that you are now very strongly in your mind how to calculate the balance. First, to take sum of both sides, it is, please excuse me, cursor was not on the right place. We will be writing it again. Sum of credit side, there were 2 amounts. I'm taking help from Excel. Here is sum of credit side. There is nothing present on debit side, sum of debit side is 0. First step is completed. Make comparison which sum is the larger sum, that is 48,000. So you are going to choose both sides to write the balance. First credit side, larger sum is 48,000, so you are going to put same total on both sides. So here on credit side you have written 48,000 and on debit side you are also writing the same balance. Two steps completed. First step, calculate sum of both sides. Choose larger sum, which was 48,000, and write 48,000 larger sum on total of both sides. Next step is to calculate the balance. Which side you will choose, which is smaller side, and smaller side is debit side. Here you will choose the debit side and will write to balance. But which balance it is? Initial balance. How would you calculate initial balance? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total, means larger total minus smaller total. And now calculate what was the larger total. You can see that credit side was 48,000, debit side was 0. So larger total 48,000 and smaller total was 0. Here you have calculated, 10 is extra. Here you have calculated the balance. Now it's time to take the next step, which is what? To brought it down to the other side. Other side is credit side and you are going to write the same balance but at opposite side on down. This is the reason you call it by balance. But which balance? Brought down. So here you have calculated the balance, which was a requirement of making any ledger. It means your requirement has been completed. Ledger is completed. Mark it as it has been done by putting an ending line after the ledger. These two sums were written just for the reference. Now they are not needed. You can erase it. Same we are doing again and again. I'm just hoping that you do not need any sort of assistant. Now you can make any ledger by yourself. You can calculate any balance by yourself. But we will complete this question. Sales ledger is completed. So here we were sales. Its ledger is completed. Next is Rafiq. So we are going to make ledger for Rafiq. Every element present in our question, we will be making ledger of that. After sale, now next was Rafiq. Rafiq is account receivable. Step number 1, to change the title, write down Rafiq. It's 8th ledger. Okay. Rule is same. As you have seen, all headings are same, but we will be focusing on Rafiq only. Upper entries are completed. Here Rafiq comes with January 8. Rafiq is debited by 22,000. So you will go to the debit side and will write 20,000 in amount column. For 20,000, what is reference which is written on the opposite side? It is sales. So you will use to sales in particular column. For 22,000, now see what was the date. Date is January 8. Put January 8 in date column. This way you have completed posting for January 8. For January 8 we are making Rafiq. 22,000 is posted on debit side. Entry is completed. Mark it as it has been done. For Rafiq, now see if Rafiq is present elsewhere. Yes, in January 11 Rafiq is present on credit side, 16,000. So go to Rafiq ledger credit side and write down 16,000. It's time to see the reference of 16,000. What is written on the opposite side? That is bank. So you will write by bank in particular column. For 16,000, see its date, which is January 11. Put date over here, January 11. In this way you have completed the posting for January 11th entry. And now you see if Rafiq is present elsewhere. This entry was for January 11. We are needed to mark it. January 11, Rafiq, amount has been posted, mark it as it has been done. Now see if Rafiq is present elsewhere. Again, Rafiq had arrived in January 16. Rafiq is credited by 2000. Go to the credit side and write down 2000. Now see its reference for 2000. Here Rafiq is present on credit side. What is reference? Return in. So you will be writing by return in particular column. For 2000, see what was the date, January 16. Put date January 16 in date column. This way January 16th entry for Rafiq is posted. That means it is completed. Mark it as it has been done. See if Rafiq is present elsewhere. Yes, we have seen Rafiq in January 20. It is credited by 4000, but there are two references. So again we will be dividing it into two parts. Actual we will credit Rafiq by 4000, but since it is divided into two parts, so we will use two references. Rafiq credit 4000. So you will go to the credit side, Rafiq here, and will write two amounts for Rafiq, that is 3900 and 100. So first you will write 3900 and then you will write 100. These were two amounts written in the entry. First amount is for cash, but I will be letting you know. This is 3900. Cash is written as reference. So you will be writing here by cash, and the second entry 100 is discount as you have seen. So you will write by discount. I will show you again as well. Discount is 100, cash is 3900. Go to the entry. You can see here cash is 3900 and discount is 100. See its date, which is January 20. Put January 20 in front of cash and January 20 same date for discount, as both entries, both references are used for the same transaction. Actually we are making ledger of Rafiq, and you can see Rafiq is credited by 4000. So we were supposed to complete 4000. So 3900 plus 100, 4000 is completed. It means January 20, both Rafiq is completed. Reference was, I was just about to tell you two references, cash and discount, but actually account of Rafiq we are making. 4000 has been posted into two parts. Entry is completed. Mark it as it has been done. See if Rafiq is present elsewhere. No. That means all entries related to Rafiq have been posted. So it's time to calculate the balance. Again, same game we are playing. We will calculate the sum of both sides. Sum here on debit side, only one amount. So here is total of debit side. Now you are supposed to calculate the sum on credit side as well. So these are four amounts. I'm taking help from Excel to calculate the sum. So this is credit side sum, which is 22,000. Oh, good. And this is sum on debit side, which is also 22,000. It means balance cannot be calculated. Why? To calculate the balance, what procedure is? You will subtract smaller total from the larger total. And since both totals are equalized, there is no smaller or larger total. So balance would not be calculated. That is why what you will do, you will write this total 22,000 on debit side, and you will write the same total 22,000 on credit side as well. This is your total. Mark it as total. Balance would not be calculated as there is no smaller or larger total. It means Rafiq ledger without calculation of balance is completed. So mark it as it has been done by putting a closing line. So these totals were written just for the reference. Now they are not needed. Erase them. Ledger for Rafiq is also completed. So we'll go to the upside and we'll see where Rafiq was present. Here Rafiq was present, journal is completed. You can see that we have marked several entries, but still there are entries without marking. It means some of the ledgers are still to be made. We are now going to make next ledger. What ledger we had completed before is Karachi, I think, Rafiq. So you can see Rafiq's ledger is completed. After a week we have written out. So we are going to make ledger for return out. Okay guys, you may take break and we will come back and we'll solve the next ledgers. We have completed Rafiq's ledger. Next ledger is return and we are meeting soon. Just take break and come back. Thank you very much.